I'm going to be talking with Gayatri. Gayatri is someone I met through a neurolinguistic programming workshop. And I think at a time like this where everyone's thinking about anxieties and emotions and subconscious needs and drives and the collective consciousness, I think that she would be an amazing person to talk with. So I shall see you with her. I'm back and fingers crossed it works this time. So I am going to look. I'm sorry, guys. Hopefully now we can do this with Gayatri. Anyone is like a tech whiz who can help me. So Gayatri is my friend, but I can't seem to find her on my requests. Where are my requests? Guys, I'm so sorry. This is an epic fail. Thank you for your patience. So that's really funny. Whoever has any suggestions on how I fix this. I follow Gayatri. Apparently she sent me a request. Yeah, I know. Thanks Avi Chauhan for laughing. Why don't you help? There we go. So we're gonna have Gayatri with us in a minute. Waiting. So yes, so today we're going to be speaking with Gayatri, who is now connected with us. Yay!
Yes.
Hi
Hi.
Gayatri, how are you?
I am good. I can't hear you. Could you be
I
a
can
little
hear
louder?
you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi Gayatri, thank you so much for joining me today. It's wonderful to have you
Thank
here.
you so much, Shruthi.
I was trying to explain what it is that you do, which you might have seen. I'm sure I didn't do a very good job of it. Do you want to explain to everyone who's watching here today what it is exactly, what is neurolinguistic programming, how it is that you help people, and then we'll get into the topics of today.
Okay, so I was clinically depressed for a lot of years, and I went to traditional psychiatry, and I was taking medication, and I was also diagnosed with bipolar. And so at that point of time, when I was going through traditional psychiatry and medication, I wasn't finding any results. So I wasn't feeling better, because the medication would just numb my brain, and I would just sleep the whole day, and I will not have any energy to do the tasks. And there was kind of a little bit of memory loss also happening at that point of time. So that was a moment when I decided that this is not working, and I need to check for something alternative, any other alternative therapy. And that's when I came across neurolinguistic programming. So neurolinguistic programming is actually a tool that helps to study the structure of your thoughts, study the structure of your mindset. So
like patterns, would you say?
Yeah, your patterns and what is happening within you. So what happens when you are thinking a thought? Each thought that you're thinking is creating a biochemical reaction in your body. And because of that biochemical reaction, you are behaving in a particular way. You're acting in a particular way. Your habits
So
are
just so I understand better, let's say you have a thought that's slightly negative, say anger towards somebody.
Yes.
What would be the biochemical reaction of anger in the body?
Yeah, so the biochemical reaction of anger could be your liver. It kind of damages your liver. Then the biochemical reaction could be the habit of in your body. It could be the palpitations in the heart. It could be the rage. It could be the furious feeling that you're having. It could affect your gut. So it basically the biochemical reactions basically affect your immune system. So
you're saying that all emotions have a biochemical reaction that is manifested physiologically in the body.
Yes. So they manifest physiologically, and that's what we are experiencing right now as well during this crisis. So
which we
see
will
a lot
get
of,
to, which we'll
yeah,
definitely get to, which I want to
yes.
really like get into detail, because today, guys, we have like a longer session because we have like a lot to talk about. And
Yes.
for those of you joining in later, or like those who want to listen just a little bit and then watch it later, we're going to be covering that definitely. I think that's really the crux of chatting today. So with neurolinguistic programming, what you are addressing is basically people's patterns. Am I right? Oh wait, Gayatri?
I'm here.
Yeah. So with
The
NLP, you're basically
technology,
addressing people's patterns. Am I right?
yes.
Clara,
So
stop it.
that's
I'm
your
sorry.
cat?
My cat just wants to be a part of this NLP
Wow.
conversation. Sorry. Yeah.
So that is what, then when I learned all that, then I realized that there were so many patterns that I had from my childhood. There were so many beliefs, there were so many emotions, there were so many thoughts that were there since childhood. And when I worked on all of that, so what 2 years of psychiatry and what 2 years of medication couldn't help me out with, because medication is not going to work on the emotional hurt. It cannot work on rejection.
Yeah.
Correct. It cannot work on rejection. It cannot work on the feeling that I had, the feeling of being unloved. It
Right.
cannot work on grief. It cannot work on shame. What it can do is just kind of numb my brain so that I don't throw those emotional tantrums, or I don't kind of act out, all those things. It is like a sedative which allows me to just sleep, which allows me to just kind of just, I mean, I cannot even say that it allowed me to relax, but yes, so it did
So,
numb my brain.
Gayatri, I think, like, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think the important thing to address here as well is that there are people who are currently on medication for
Yes,
whatever,
yes,
you know, they're facing, and some people feel it works for them. So I don't think we're here
yes,
to tell
yes,
people like, you know, medication for depression or anxiety is bad. This is just,
yeah,
you know, this is about what worked for you, because I think
yes.
that's
Oh, what for
definitely a
me?
sensitive topic, you know,
Yeah,
for what is going on with people personally. That I know a lot of
yes,
people personally as well who
yeah,
do think that medication has greatly helped them. I personally
yeah,
don't. I know you don't. So today's discussion is not about like putting that down as much as it's
yeah,
about
yeah.
talking about the alternative, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Because for me, it personally worked a lot. For me, what worked was because I wanted to process all those emotions. So that is what NLP helped me. NLP gave me those tools. And since last 7 years, I've been using these tools. And there are many clients with whom I have worked, and you had attended my workshop too. So
Yes, I did attend your workshop. That's how we met.
those tools somewhere help us. So what is happening is that we cannot change the external environment.
Right.
We cannot change what is happening in our external environment. But what we can always, or what we could always do, is we could work on our mindset. We could work on how we process that thing internally. Because when we shift the way we process those things internally, I think a lot of our behaviors shift, a lot of our habits shift. It is not about positive thinking. It is about finding what is useful, what is resourceful at this point of time. So it is
great.
not about.
So coming back to a question, for example, like someone like me, like I advocate therapy very much. I've been in therapy for a couple of years myself, and I think that's something that's really helped. And it also forces you with somebody to question your own patterns. Like be like,
Yeah.
why do you think you, without being judgmental to yourself? I think, which is the
Yes.
biggest thing in all of this, is there is no right and wrong with the way that your mind functions or how you respond to things. There's a reason, and that's
Yeah.
what you're looking at, you know.
Absolutely.
And I feel like now for people, especially in this situation, maybe, you know, you guys could Google about this and read more and maybe try to get some tools. But if I were to say, if suppose it, like, you know, like imagining I could come to a workshop, or we could all do a quick 5-second crash course, I mean 15-second crash course with you about what is it? How does step 1, step 2, and step 3? So step 1,
Yes.
how does one get the courage, I would say, and the awareness to even address a pattern?
Address a pattern. Okay. So are you talking about this particular time that we are going through?
Yeah, I definitely think we could relate it now to what we're going
Yes.
through, like confinement, anxiety, worry,
Yeah. So the first thing is we need to become aware of our own body. So the first thing is when there is a thought happening, the thought is happening at such a fast speed. It's like quick, it's like super quick. So and one thought kind of connects to another thought. So it's kind of a chain. It keeps on going quickly. So what happens is to address this thought, it becomes a little challenging. So the first thing that we need to become aware is our own body. And I think that's where reflection is very, very important. So I have made notes, I have made steps of what the people who are watching live today can immediately start doing it today itself. So I have written down few steps for them. And the first step would be is to reflect. And reflect in the way, write in a journal. That's very, very important. Because when your thoughts are going there, it's like going in a super fast speed. It's like boom, it's just going like that. So when you put that out in paper, when you're writing it down, you're actually slowing this down. You're slowing down what you are telling yourself. So writing is the first tool that I would want people to introduce right now. What is it that they can use right now is journal, like a piece of paper, and write down whatever it is that you're feeling. But before writing down, the key question here is, how am I feeling right now? That is the key question. How am I feeling right now? Because you may feel different emotions in the entire day. Because now that we are home, now that we are working from home, many of the businesses have like kind of shut down. They are not working right now. So some of them are working from home. Some of them are waiting for this lockdown period to open up, and then they can restart their business. So they are at home. So what's happening is you need to ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? That is very important. And when you write that,
awareness to the present.
Yes, awareness comes to that moment. So you're not talking about the entire day, or you're not talking about the morning, or you're not talking about how I'm going to feel in the evening. It's not that. So it is at this moment, what am I feeling? So how am I feeling? You can just write that down, how am I feeling? So you can say I'm feeling scared, or I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling fearful, I'm feeling disappointed. Because this is a phase, I think, where many of us are disappointed. Like, I'm sure your shoots might have been cancelled, your events might have got cancelled, my events got cancelled. There may be many plans. People might have booked their travel tickets, and there may be so many plans.
I think overall, Gayatri, people feel like a very evident loss of control. So I've always felt like control is a bit of an illusion anyway in life, but I think in a situation like this, it's very, very categorically like you have no control over the situation. I think a lack of control is...
Yeah, and you've been asked to do something out of your own wish. Like many of them don't want to be at home. So it is like you've lost your power, you've lost your freedom maybe, and like you said, you've lost your control also at this moment. So it is very important for us to ask that question, how am I feeling right now? And just write it down. Just the feeling. Don't write the entire story, just the feeling. Like, I feel like I've lost control, I feel fearful, I feel anxious, I feel hurt, disappointed, whatever it is, list down those feelings.
Right.
The second question you can ask yourself is, how would I want to feel instead? Like right now, if I'm feeling out of control, how do I want to feel instead? Because your brain doesn't know
if I'm feeling anxious, if my first emotion that I wrote down was I'm feeling anxious. The second thing is what would I want to feel? Relaxed, uplifted.
Yes,
happy.
relaxed. Correct. Relaxed, calm, peace. Perfect. So yesterday I was working with a client and we did the same awareness exercise with her, and she said that she is feeling disconnected because she's a teacher and she goes to school and she meets her children. Yeah, so she's feeling disconnected. She's feeling that she's not meeting her children. So it is making her feel disconnected. So I asked her, how would you want to feel instead? And she said, I would want to feel connected. So So this is the second question. And the third question is, what action can I take? What is that one action that I can take right now? So it is right now, at this moment. What is that one action that I can take that will allow me to shift to that new emotion that I want to feel?
So
what is it?
I have a question now. Now, what if somebody were to say the first emotion that they write is, I'm feeling trapped, I'm feeling trapped, or I'm feeling anxious because I'm confined.
So you don't.
I would like to go for a walk. Now, there's no practical way to feel that way. Do you understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, there's no
Yeah.
practical
So,
way to do that.
yes.
So, what do you do in that kind of a situation?
Yeah. So you don't add the story that I feel trapped because I am here. So you don't add that story. You cut it there. I feel trapped. You cut it there. The idea is to cut it there. So awareness builds a practice. So it is not going to happen in one day. It's not going to happen at this moment. It is not going to be like, today Gayatri has told this, so I'm doing it. Immediately I'm feeling better.
Right.
It won't happen that way. It will take some time. And that is where we need to keep doing this twice or thrice or 4 times a day.
I don't know if you agree with me. Actually, one thing I practiced for a long time, which really seems to help me, and it may help the people watching today, is
yes.
Situations like this, like, remind you about yourself a lot. Like me, I am feeling this way. I am at home. I am worried. I am anxious about people I know getting this virus, or me getting, there's so many thoughts. But the thing is, we also realize that everyone is collectively going through this, that this is a threat to everyone. This is not a threat that is separate to a community or a race or a religion. So all of that is kind of like removed. So then in the sense of, which is kind of what like the philosophy that everyone should adhere to is like, yes, I'm important, have a healthy ego, but also realize that there's so many things. Like we have to be very blessed and lucky that we can quarantine in a comfortable home, that we have running water, electricity, air conditioning, whatever.
Absolutely.
And,
we have this internet.
Be really thankful for that. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that our experience has to be belittled because somebody else is, going through something different. And I think the one thing that has helped me, which I've continuously done before, is gratitude, because we're going to have fears, we're going to have anxieties, we're going to have doubts, not just in this time, but in general. And to be taking a minute in the evening or writing it down, or even just thinking about it, to say, I'm actually thankful for, like today I'm thankful to have this chat, or I'm really almost every day thankful for technology since this has happened, because it's allowed me to connect to everybody. Or I'm thankful for my friends who call and check on me and say, do you need anything, So once we've done these steps of, I recognize this, and this is what I'd rather feel. Do you think that at a moment like this, even gratitude in the toughest of times is something that will help people?
Yes. So gratitude was my second point. Was my second point. So gratitude has really helped me also. Like you said, in the last so many years, gratitude has helped me also. So even today, right now, we are connecting via technology. So I'm so grateful that technology is working. There are so many people out there, the healthcare people, the government, community helpers. The guy who comes to collect the garbage every single day, he's been coming there every single day. Then the milkman. So all these people who are working for us to ensure that we are getting the smooth supplies of all the food, the groceries and everything. I think gratitude is something that we all must practice at this moment. So gratitude is the second.
We do have things to be thankful for, even though things seem awful right now. I think that we do have things to be thankful for, definitely. And once gratitude is, I want to ask you, as somebody who's probably still having sessions with people and talking to them, what is a general sense of emotion you get? Is it anxiety? Is it helplessness? What would you say is the general vibe?
The general sense is anxiety of the future, the anxiety of an uncertain future. Like what might happen after 21 days, like we'll be going back to work, or we will be still at home, or what is going to happen. And again, watching the news. So the anxiety is also about watching the news, watching the WhatsApp forwards. So that is something again that I would request people to do to reduce the consumption of
100%.
news. Reduce.
I was talking to a friend yesterday and I said the same thing when this whole thing started and I was at home. I had like this uncontrollable amount of time to just be like glued on the TV and look at the number
Yes.
ticker going up and reading.
Yes.
And I myself was guilty of forwarding some ridiculous WhatsApp messages, you know. So
Yes.
I feel like that's such a good piece of advice. Like, watch only what you need to stay informed,
Yes.
not to get like sucked into this vortex.
Yeah, too much of information.
Yes.
And
Yes.
again, WhatsApp. So through WhatsApp, we are getting so much information which is like unverified, which is not, many of them are not true. And again, there is also misinterpretation of a lot of information that is coming in. So that
Yes.
is also one more challenge that's happening through WhatsApp and through social media. So I think what we can do at this moment is reduce our consumption of information, like have 2 or 3 websites which you follow and just follow those websites for the news, follow a particular news channel for those news, and I think that is enough. You are going to get all the information through those channels. And
Yes.
one of my clients, when I worked with her day before yesterday, she decided to quit WhatsApp. She decided to uninstall WhatsApp until all this gets over.
Really? That's like such a
Yeah.
brave move. I would just,
Yeah.
like, I don't know if now is the time for me to ever live without WhatsApp. But yeah, I mean, that's for her, that's an amazing decision that she's taken for her mental
Yeah, for
health,
her,
which is, like,
it
really
worked.
important.
Yes, for her it worked. So many of you, or many of them, also decided to kind of quit certain groups, the school groups or certain groups wherein there are a lot of information being shared. So that is something that you could do,
Yeah.
or you could just mute the notifications so that you just don't keep getting that so much information overload.
I think that's
So
a
that
great
is-
piece of advice, like not to get sucked into somebody, well, basically everybody else's narrative about what's
Yeah.
going on. Yes.
So that is one thing you could do. So coming back to my first point, that is reflect. So you talk about the emotion that you're feeling. I am feeling trapped. I am feeling out of control, or I am feeling a certain emotion.
So you reflect
What emotion?
on the emotion and just write it down.
Yeah.
And the second
And
step
yes,
is
write it. And then what do I want to feel instead? What could I feel instead of this? So if you want to feel connection, then what is the one action that you could take? So the one action could be like talking to a friend, doing a video call, or doing a Zoom chat, or maybe working out with your buddies. Like many of them are missing
Right.
gym and missing their gym buddies. So you can do that. So like that way you can feel connection. If
yeah,
many
because
of you,
some people are quarantined with their partners or with their family or their kids, or but some
Yes.
of us are like me are quarantined completely. Like, I mean, we are self-isolating completely by ourselves. It's just
yes,
me
yes,
and my cat, and I've used this time to reflect, but also to like reconnect to my home, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense. For those of us who are living on our own at this time and cleaning our homes and like reconnecting to our food and cooking our food ourselves, everything. It's like I think it's a wonderful experience, really.
yes.
And
It's a new
so again,
experience.
coming to your third point of gratitude.
Yes, so coming to the third point is gratitude. Like I personally, like we as a family, me, my husband and my daughter, we practice this before eating food. We show gratitude, we pray, we thank the farmer for sending us that food. We thank all the people who have been there in that chain to get that food to our plate. So we do this
It's so funny you
gratitude.
said that, because yesterday I was asking a friend and I said, are you practicing Catholic or Christian? Because we've always seen people saying grace, and I think that's such a beautiful thing to be
Yes.
thankful कि मुझे आज ये खाना मिल रहा है, and I'm so happy,
Touchy.
and this
Yeah.
food is nourishing me. ये मेरी सेहत
Yes.
के लिए, and for myself, this is so good,
Yeah.
So I feel
And
that
when you're
definitely
doing,
that's
and
a
when you're
beautiful practice.
And when you're doing that, you're also becoming mindful of the food that you're eating. So you're like mindfully eating. So you're becoming present again. The awareness is coming back to the present. And you're mindfully
Which brings me to another point. Which brings me to another point, guys. It's like right now, food has become a big question. Like, people are stocking up on food. People are like, I'm going to run out of food. I don't know if I'm going to get this. I'm going to have to cook this. I'm going to have to control my weight while I'm in isolation. There's just so much stuff around food right now. That what is your opinion about this kind of reintroduction to food, you know.
So, considering food, yes, the one thing that I saw was like that day when our Prime Minister announced the lockdown. When he announced it, I saw so many people rushing out, and they were out there in the market. I could see from here, they were just rushing out and they were buying vegetables and all. There were like huge line outside the grocery. People were pushing and pulling, and all that was happening. So
Yeah.
the idea was to not go out. The idea was to not create that crowd, but that was happening again out of panic. So what happens is in such situations, your body goes into the flight or fight response.
Yes,
so your
absolutely.
subconscious mind or your unconscious,
You get triggered, you get anxious, you know.
yes,
Someone
yeah,
has a
absolutely.
question, can NLP resolve anxieties? So when you know what I'm going to do, guys, is also, Gayatri, if you'd be kind enough to just give me a little note on what people can do right now. I'm actually going to post that as a story
Yes.
on my Instagram to follow up
Yes,
this.
I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that.
Yeah, so that would be
And,
really, really good
and
to
one
help
more,
people have a list.
yes, and one more thing for all the people who are watching it live. During this lockdown period, I'm offering a 30-minute free consultation call for anybody who is feeling low, who is feeling anxious, and would want to talk about it. So I'm
That's
offering
wonderful. I hope
Yeah.
you all are listening. So Gayatri will.
Yes.
And how does one go about contacting you? Is it
So they can message me directly on my Instagram handle, which is Gayatri Aptekar. They can
Yes.
message me there, and I'll take it up from there, and we can fix our call, and we can fix our consultation call from there.
That's wonderful. So I hope all of you who are watching this chat know that if you have more
Yes.
questions about NLP, or if you're like worried and you really feel like you can't talk to your family or friends about how you're feeling, then lo and behold, Gayatri is here for you.
Yes. In last 1 week, I worked with like 25 people, so they have taken up the sessions and they have taken these free calls. So what happens is then giving a
Anxiety is like a
differently for
unique
different people.
story to each person.
So that is important.
Yeah.
To connect to me and get that one-on-one strategy of how you can work through your anxiety. So that is very important, because giving generalized opinion is what we already did online. But it's very important for us to understand how am I processing anxiety and how could I process it in a better way, in a more resourceful way. So that is one thing. Reframing.
Reframing, which is rearranging this pattern.
No, reframing is very, very powerful tool in NLP, and reframing is about seeing a particular situation in a different frame. So now that we are talking about physical isolation, so we are physically isolating ourselves inside our home. But what if we are not isolating ourselves? We are isolating that virus. What if we are doing that? What if the virus is left alone? Because the virus can only thrive.
It's basically like a shift in perspective, a change in, it's a paradigm shift. So instead of saying, oh my God, I'm feeling so hot right now, you can say, well, I'm not freezing to death, so it's the opposite. Yes, it's the opposite. Yes.
Yeah, so we can use a more useful frame, that because when we are taking the frame that I am stuck or it's a lockdown, what happens is when you're taking that frame, again, the biochemical reactions that are happening are not resourceful for you. You're not feeling comfortable, maybe you're feeling panic, maybe you're feeling the fear, the anxiety. So instead of that, when we shift the frame to this is the time.
Like I'm going to repeat what you said, because it's really powerful and wonderful, which is instead of saying, I am isolated and I am left alone and I am curtailed, you think, no, the virus is left alone.
Yes.
The virus is curtailed and we are controlling the spread of the virus, so the virus isn't going crazy and running around. So it's like the opposite. Yes.
Because the virus is nothing but a protein molecule, and when it is left alone, it will disintegrate and it will decay on its own. That is the reason we have the 14-day period. That is the reason we have to isolate ourselves, because we cannot kill the virus unless we have a vaccine. Unless we do that, we don't have a antidote, like which can kill the virus. So what we
And
have to
now
do is,
I wanted to come to the other, I think just really, importantly ask is, one thing I'm feeling is I've been someone who's very comfortable in my own space, in my own company. And I was talking to somebody I'm very close to today and said, well, and they said, well, for everyone who said that people should not be self-centered, now is a good time for all the self-centered people because we love our own company anyway. But on a very serious note, I'm feeling positive. I'm feeling that humanity is beautiful and we can overcome this. But I do feel, as a person who has been working all the time, who's been traveling all the time, who's been like all over the place, that the uncertainty, we don't know if this is a lockdown of 1 month, we don't know if they'll extend, we don't know if it's a 6-month lockdown like the UK and a partial lockdown. We don't
yes,
really know. I don't know when I can travel again. I don't know when I can be on a movie set again. And most importantly, none of us know when there will be a solution in the form of a vaccine. So what
yes.
is a quick advice you could have for all of us dealing with uncertainty, starting from finances to health to job, your job being stable after this, or your relationships being stable after this? What is your quick advice on how to deal with that? Because it's a niggling uncertainty.
Yes. Yeah. So the first thing over here is, like, we all are facing this. Like, even I am facing this. I don't know when I'll be able to take a workshop directly. Like, when I'll be taking a one-on now is, again,
Right.
it's kind of generalized thing because each one is processing it in a different way. So what I may share here may work for some
Yes.
people or may not work for some people. So what you could do is, you can just
Sure.
sit with that emotion. You can sit. It's okay to feel disappointed. It's okay to feel, because uncertainty is the only thing which is certain. We actually didn't know all these
I think
things. We
uncertainty, मतलब ये आज की बात नहीं है, आज is uncertainty. Do you get what I mean? Like, that's just the general story of life.
Yeah. So uncertainty, so we are feeling uncertain about so many things because we are keeping on thinking. And that's why the action step is very, very important here. So what is that one action step
Yes.
that you can take? So if you're feeling financially insecure, sit down, go online, check your financial statements. What is your financial status right now? And now read what we are doing. Me and my husband, we have enrolled for an online share market course, so that we are going to work. We have started investing in share market right now, which I was not quite comfortable before all this, but now I have started doing that. I'm learning that. So how can you use this time? What are you investing your time in? Again, the
Also
reframe part
asking
comes.
yourself, how many things have you collected? How many things do you have that you haven't?
Yes. Reassess all that, all the things that you have, and this is a time which is allowing us to become experts in optimum utilization of resources. Now, the vegetable vendor who is coming in our society, he's going to come once a week. So once a week. So we are now cooking food mindfully. Like, no, there is no extra that we are cooking.
But
We are
actually,
cooking only.
dekha jaye, if you look at it, this is how we should be living in general.
Yeah. Yes. So that is one thing that's happening. And again, I think this phase is a wonderful invitation for all of us to come back to the present, to reflect on our choices, to reflect on how we would want to live after all this gets over, after this entire period.
So what I'm trying to understand, when you're saying, okay, so you're saying, come back to the present, reflect on our previous actions and how do we want to move into the future. So how does one stay present while keeping these two together in
Yes.
your mind as well?
Yes. So reflection is again coming back to the present, coming back to this moment, because we don't know what's going to happen in the next moment. So that is also something that I learned when I did my Vipassana meditation. So in during Vipassana, also coming back to your breath. You keep coming back to the present. So that is a very useful tool when we are coming back to the present. At this moment, what is the action that I can take? At this moment, what could I do? How can I contribute? There are so many ways that you could. Could you do for your house help? What could you do for that security watchman? What we have decided is that grocery vendor who's coming in our society and the vegetable vendor who is coming to our apartment, what we have decided is we will give. So how
Yes.
can you show unity right now? That's a good question to ask yourself.
Yes.
How, like, you are doing this session, so you are talking to your fans, you are telling what you are doing, you are sharing your experiences. Now that also is going to influence the people who are watching you, influence your followers. So I think
Well,
collectively.
Hopefully, and I think what you said is beautiful. It's a simple step. Like, we have a WhatsApp group in this building, and someone was like, "Hi guys, no one's, we need to be making, tea and coffee for the guards downstairs.
Yes.
We need to be offering food to them." And I was like, God, yeah, we didn't even think about this, because
Yes.
they kind of, and they're not able to. They're just sitting there, and there's fear and panic everywhere. And I think that is very, very good. And just to make those small steps, and
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but the one thing that I've learned in this time is that, judgment and negativity really has to become a thing of the past. And on the internet,
Yes.
in yourself, with your family, with your friends, like, just take a minute to think. Something came out of the blue completely. It made you stop. It kind of like whacked you in the head and said, "Stop being negative. Stop. All of this other shit doesn't matter." Like, it's literally a question of life and death, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, I hope I don't get it." So I think being positive and taking a second to understand yourself, but also look at the outside world and think that if you're having a hard time, like, aapke liye itna mushkil hai, to somebody else is also having the same hard time. So I think now I hope that with the eradication of a virus such as this, like, the worst virus for a long time has been negativity that has inflicted so many people with a crippling point of view in life.
And I think it has also made me so humble. It has also made me think like a little organism, a little microorganism is like so powerful that it stopped everything. It has stopped everything. It has made countries go into this lockdown mode. So I think that again brings us to that perspective, like, what does really matter? What does really matter? What matters is the kindness, the compassion, the forgiveness, the connect that we have. And like you said, it is out of question. It happen to anyone. So it is not about what religion, what caste, or what faith you are following. It's completely neutral.
I think now is the time to think of, have I really been behaving in the way that's best for me and for the people around me? Have I been thinking in the patterns and the ways that are actually good for me or the people around me? Have I been positive enough to myself? Have I now people जो अकेले हैं घर पे जो बैठे बहुत time, I think, day 1, day 2, day 3, by day 10 of quarantine, you would have watched everything on Amazon and Netflix. You would have FaceTimed everybody. You would have been on house party 100 times. And sooner or later, your patterns will catch up with you. So we're coming closer to the end. What would you like to say to wrap this up, Gayatri, for people? Again, reiterating, I'm going to tag Gayatri's profile as well as some of the tips that she will send to me, which I'll share with you. But just to wrap this up, Gayatri, what would you like to say to everyone
to wrap
listening?
this entire thing up, we have to somewhere draw a boundary to our thinking. That is the first thing we need to do, because right now thinking mode so much, which is creating all these unpleasant sensations in our body, because of which we are acting.
Overthinking.
Yeah, we are acting and behaving in a particular way. So when you get into that thinking mode, reflect. How am I feeling? How would I feeling right now? That's the question. How am I feeling right now? How would I want to feel instead? And what is the one action, like one simple action? It need not be like a very big action. So it could be as simple as an action like eating a fruit. It could be as simple action as calling your parents, or calling your sibling, or calling your best friend, or your spouse, or anybody, your loved one. It could be, or your teacher. It could be anybody. So what is that single one step that you could take? Like you said, in your society, they decided to give tea and coffee to the guards. So when you are taking that action, that action is give that feedback. You can again take more action. There are a lot of workout videos, Zumba videos online.
And you don't have to be doing like the workout. You can dance, you can play twister, you can do whatever else, however you want to do.
Whatever else that you want to do. So many of them working from home. The main thing that has happened is like you've saved a lot of travel time. So what are you going to do in that time? So you could meditate. You could use these apps, which is like Calm and Headspace. So these are two apps that I would highly recommend. You can download it from Play Store, and you can use those apps to begin your meditation journey. And one more thing that you could do is you could go back to your hobbies. Like, what are some of the hobbies that you had? So it could be reading, painting, music, dance. Sketching, doing anything that fills your heart up. It kind of calms you at this moment. That is, and if you don't have anything,
I love that.
So yes, so anything.
Responsibility now. Your joy is in your hands.
Wow, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Gayatri, for joining us and for imparting your valuable knowledge. And I'm sure, as I'm reiterating, all of you listening, you can get in touch with Gayatri if you need to talk to her, or if you're having questions about this neurolinguistic programming in general. So thank you, Gayatri. Thank you so much for joining us. I really, really appreciate you being here today and talking with all of us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me, and it was really a lovely session. See you soon. Bye.
Bye. Bye. That was super fun chatting with a friend with all of you.